Hey guys, I hope you've had a great week. I am back with another video, and today I wanted to talk about keeping bad company. Let me just ask you real quick, are you struggling with keeping someone or more than one person in your life because you would rather have them than to feel lonely? Well, I have been in the same situation, and it actually happened pretty recently, a few months ago. But um, back then, when I still had that person in my life that I knew wasn't good for me, they weren't really leading me in the right direction, um, kind of even turning away from God in a way. But um, I was just so afraid to let that person go. And at the time, it just felt like if I let them go, then I would let like myself go, because when I had that person in my life, I didn't really have any friends, and they were like really the main person I would go to for everything. And so when I actually when I finally built up the courage to just say adios, um, it was a painful day. Trust me. Like the first few weeks, the first month, the first couple months, the first few months, all the way up to now, it is still affecting me. But there is more good in my life than ever before, um, than when the person was in my life that shouldn't have been there. And so I just want to encourage you guys that it's okay to be lonely if you do have to let somebody go. Because if you let somebody go that you're supposed to let go, you know that you have to let go, then you will eventually find yourself. That's what happened in the first, actually, it's still happening to this day. Um, when I had like this small friend group, it was very small, but it was not um, spiritually growing in any way, or I mean, like, spiritually advancing in any way. It wasn't helping me advance in my faith. And it certainly wasn't helping me advance in my future or my decision making or anything like that. And so when I was used to having that friend group for years, um, it kind of changed my perspective about other people outside my friend group. Because since I was interacting with those people, those same few people all the time, and I like based my time around hanging out with them or doing schoolwork or being home, they were just always involved in my week. And I talked to them on a daily basis, mainly because we went to the same school together, high school. But we talked together every day, and I didn't know it at the time, but eventually I wouldn't talk to any of them again. And it's not because, or it doesn't mean that any of us are bad people. Like, you shouldn't talk to anybody like that who you used to know, because um, nobody is really evil who you have to let go of in your life. They don't have to be evil. They just, maybe they're not the right person for you. Maybe they're not helping you grow in your faith. Maybe their morals don't align with yours. That doesn't make them a completely evil person, by no means. But when you do find that realization that, wow, I should let this person go maybe because I think maybe my life would be better that way. Once you get that realization, that is a sign from God telling you to follow Him. Because same thing I did. I let people go simply because I started following God, and they did not want to support me. They didn't want to encourage me to do it. Sometimes they would encourage me against the Bible. They knew what the Bible said, but they wanted to pick out their own things that they wanted to believe from it. And that is a big no-no. If you have somebody in your life who does that, then run. It might be hard, trust me. It's hard to say bye to people who you've known for so long, but in the Bible it even says in 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. So you might be a really good person. You might follow God, and you might be really trying your best to go after that path that God has for you and to follow His ways of being a perfect God. You might be wanting to have His patience and His love and His pureness and His righteousness. But the people you hang out with are not helping you. They aren't leading you on that path that you want to go on. They're kind of like straying you away, like they're kind of turning the wheel a little bit. It's like you're riding in a car with them. You don't have control in the car. You're the passenger because you're choosing to be in this car, in this friend group, or with this person who is misleading you. So the person misleading you is kind of driving a little bit off course, or like, I don't really think that's the best thing for us. Maybe we should go this way instead. That is exactly what it's like to choose to be with somebody who is not good in their faith, or really they might not know about God. So maybe that's an opportunity to even teach them a little bit about His love for them and everything. But if they already know and they don't want to follow it, and they have no open-mindedness for the Bible or for what you want to do with your faith, if they are ignoring your faith and your wants and your aspirations to be more like Jesus, then you are letting them turn the wheel toward a completely different lifestyle just by being friends with them. Even if you're friends with them and you only hang out for like once a month, then they can still influence you. Say that they are a heavy smoker, for example, and you only hang out with them once a month, but whenever you see them, they are smoking. And so just out of chance one day that you meet up with them, you might see that they enjoy what they do, and you might want to try it yourself. And that could lead to a whole habit. You could gain a new habit by just meeting with somebody once in a while. And that just shows us how much we can be influenced by other people. Other people are like the biggest influence. But we got to put God at the center of our hearts, in the center of our influence. We can't be around these people who can easily influence us. Even though we might not think that we are easily influenced, we can say, oh, I'm tough. I can't get influenced by them. They can do their own thing. They can do what they want, but I'm still friends with them though. You are still being influenced, even though it doesn't seem like it. But if you do end up letting that person go, and say right now, as you're watching this video, you're going through that lonely time of after you let them go. It's like post friend breakup. So now you are in this quiet time with yourself. You are forced to be out of your comfort zone and confront your feelings about being alone and being without this person that you were familiar with and that you loved. Well, in the Bible it says this. In James 1:2 it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." So, because you're going through this lonely time, that is a trial. Loneliness is a big trial. It is a big test. God is trying to see what you're going to do when you are lonely, when you feel like you're under pressure. And so you have to act, or you have to remember that God is watching you, because what you do when you're alone describes who you are as a person. And if you are really uncomfortable with being alone, then that is okay, but that's why we have to remember this Bible verse. Whenever you face trials of many kinds, consider it pure joy, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. So it might feel really painful in the moment to be going through this loneliness, but that's when you cannot just impulsively make decisions to try and make yourself feel better. That is like the ultimate number one way to automatically ruin your life and create new lifestyle choices when you just try to give yourself that instant gratification. Like say for example, if you're lonely and you like to turn to drinking, then you're going to rely on that every other time that you're lonely. And so when you're lonely, it is the most vulnerable time. But in the Bible, it says we have to consider these trials as pure joy. Well, not the trials itself as pure joy. We can still feel every emotion we need to feel during these trials. But looking at the whole situation as a whole, we have to consider it pure joy. Because without these trials, how would our faith ever be proven right? How would we ever understand that our faith gets us through everything? Because when we wait and we don't make impulsive decisions to try and make ourselves feel better, then eventually we wake up the next day. Maybe we won't feel 100% okay, but when we keep waking up the day after and the day after and the day after, we'll feel a little bit better. And it will be much easier to just be patient and wait on God. Because when we look to earthly things like substances or other people or relationships, then we are relying on shaky ground that is inevitably going to break right under us as soon as we start relying on it. So, we have got to rely on God. We have to just wait for Him during this time of loneliness. In Psalms 27:14, it says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord." It says wait for the Lord twice in this verse. There's emphasis on wait for the Lord because it can be so hard to wait for things nowadays, because everything is like instant. You instantly get it, and if you don't, then it's such a bother and it's such an inconvenience. But the Bible is a contrast completely to this society and how we want everything now, 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 now. Like, I can't be going through these emotions now. I have to feel happy now. I don't want to go through these emotions. I don't want to feel sad. I want to feel happy now, right now. That's how a lot of us can be. But in the Bible, it says, wait for the Lord. Wait for him. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. Waiting for the Lord, even though we're just waiting for the next step, that is being strong to God. It says, be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. When we wait, we are being strong because we are not giving into those temptations of, say, smoking or drinking or sleeping around or any of that could maybe be tempting to us when we are lonely and we just want to feel happy. We are being strong by waiting this out and by knowing that God fulfills his promises. We will be victorious by the end. Even though we're feeling pain right now, we are going to be victorious in God, and he is going to bless us abundantly beyond all horizons, beyond everything we can see, because he is always working in the background and he never stops. He's the God of all creation and the God of over 7 billion people now on this earth. So just imagine what he's doing in everybody's life right now. All of the 7 billion plus people on this earth, he is doing something for them. He is making a way for them in their lives. So he never stops. And so when we're going through this lonely stage and we just want to give up, we are like, I don't feel like persevering anymore. I just want to let go. I'm tired. I am tired of being disciplined. I just want one little bit of slack so I could maybe feel happy. I feel like it would make me happy if I do maybe slip up, maybe give myself some slack this one time. But we can't do that, guys. In James 1:4, it says, let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So, given we are people, we make mistakes, and we in no way can be perfect. No matter how much we try, we can't be perfect. But if we ever go back to what we ran so quickly away from, then our perseverance would be immature. And this happened to me so many times. I went back to something so many times that I had to get hurt over and over again just to learn for myself that, like, okay, this is not worth it. I'm out. But it took so long for me to learn that on my own. But that's why it says here, let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So after you persevere during that pain and that trial and error over and over again, you won't lack anything. You will have the confidence you've always wanted. You will have the friendships you've always wanted, the love you've always wanted, the peace you've always wanted, the self-centeredness you've always wanted. And you will get all of that after spending some time alone with God. Like, say after you let those people go or let that person go, you will have plenty of time to sit in your thoughts and sit with God and talk to him. And it may be uncomfortable, but you are building perseverance, and you have to let that perseverance like it says in James 1:4. Finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. This comes back to when you rely on, or when you start to rely on something to make you happy when you're feeling lonely. You have to resist it. That's part of perseverance, is heavy on the resistance. Because if you don't resist things, if you keep getting tempted and falling back into it again, then your perseverance isn't going to be complete. You're still going to be tempted and reliant on things that aren't God, and that's not good. And we have to rely on God because He is the only one who can give us rest. And He is the only one who accepts us completely for how we are and gives us grace. Every waking day, He gives us a new, clean slate that we can work from. And because He forgives us of all of our sins. And so in Matthew 11:28, it says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." So guys, during whatever time you are going through, just remember that God is here to give you rest. Whenever you come to Him, aka the Bible, or praying to Him even, when you pray, do not underestimate the power of prayer. Because when you pray, you will feel something. When you start actually talking to Him, you'll feel something in your heart, trust me. And that is just what we have to do. We have to rely on God. We can't be relying on other outside sources, people, relationships, substances, or even ourselves. We cannot rely on ourselves because we are just as unstable as all of those other things I listed, if not more. And so that's just my message today, guys. I wanted to encourage you that God has got you during this time. No matter what you're going through, whether it be loneliness or financial struggle or anything that has to do with just your overall well-being being destroyed right now. If you are going through that, you just gotta know that God is with you. Even if you don't feel it, you might want to pray to Him today so you can try to feel His presence. His presence is something that should not be taken for granted. He is the Almighty God, and His presence just feels like pure bliss. And that is what I want all of you guys to feel, so you, just like in this verse, so that you can feel rest, all of you who are weary and burdened. I care about you guys, and I know there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in this world today, so I just wanted to share that with you guys tonight. But anyway, thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope you all have a safe week. And if you made it to the end, then you can comment Matthew 11:28. That is all. I will see you guys in the next video, and God bless.